whiskey lovers. We're going to be interrupting Father's Day bonanza for the next 2 weeks because it's delivery week, and this month I got 2 whiskies from the Whiskey Club. So today we'll be looking at the whiskey of the month, which is this Bushmills 2011 Causeway collection. Bushmills is an Irish distillery, so that's whiskey with an E. These are done in Bushmills casks, so that could be quite exciting to try. And next week we're going to be looking at my top-up. The Lagavulin Offerman edition, done in a Guinness cask. So if you're a fan of Parks and Recs, you'll want to tune in for that one. Okay, so Bushmills is described as the world's oldest distillery. The company itself that had built the current distillery was actually formed in 1784, but they will claim to have been founded in 1608, and that's because official records go back to 1608, where the landowner, Sir Thomas Phillips, was granted a royal license to distill whiskey by King James I. And so, while the actual company itself may not be quite that old, whiskey has been done on that land since, at least officially, since 1608. Bushmills itself has suffered numerous lean years with periods where it had been closed or not in operation, particularly between 1802 and 1822. In 1860, it was bought by a Belfast spirit merchant, James McCoglin and Patrick Corrigan. And in 1880, they formed the limited company. Then there was a fire in 1885, which destroyed most of the distillery, but it was swiftly rebuilt. And in 1890, a steamship owned and operated by the distillery, the SS Bushmills, made a maiden voyage across the Atlantic to deliver Bushmills whiskey to America. It called into Philadelphia and New York City before heading to Singapore, Hong Kong, Shanghai, and Oklahoma. In the early 20th century, the US was one of the most major markets for Bushmills, as it was for most Irish whiskies. And in 1920, the American Prohibition dealt a very large blow to the whole Irish whiskey industry. But Bushmills managed to survive, and its director at the time, Winston Boyd, had predicted the Prohibition would come to an end and had large stores of whiskey ready to export the moment it did. It changed hands again after the Second World War, and again in 1972. So, yeah, okay. Nice, long history. They've have numerous blends and single malts known for it. Some critical accolades. So, let's give it a go. So this particular one has not only been done in Bushmills casks, it was actually first matured in Orosso sherries and then in bourbon cask before finishing in the Bushmills cask. So I'm probably expecting some nice red to it. Probably a lot of sweet, the typical citrus flavors, and you're probably going to get berry flavor as well from the sherry casks. Oh, look at that. Oh, it looks gorgeous. Oh, lovely pop. Alright, oh yes, already you can see it's got a dark amber, almost ruby-like colour to it. So that would be courtesy of its maturation in the Bushmills casks. A good swirl. It has a very deep, fruity smell that hits the nose almost immediately. A tart, citrusy type of smell. Maybe a bit of stone fruit. Raspberries. Licorice, I mean, aniseed, perhaps? Mm. Mm. Very nice fruity taste. Sort of like blackberry, citrus, and stone fruits all sort of at once. It's a sort of nutty aftertaste. Peppery aftertaste. Don't notice the spice and the mealy taste, but now I'm feeling it on the tongue. Mm. Oh yes, this is quite a nice drop. Mm. All right, so Bushmills 2011 Causeway. Delightful little drop. Okay, so join me next week when we try the Offerman edition. Um, I was quite excited for this one. I have to admit, I've only just this year got into Parks and Recreation. I think it is absolutely hilarious show. My wife and I have been watching it for the last couple of months, and even though Mel does not like peated whiskies, which this one will be because it is an Ireland Disney one, even Mel was excited to be getting the Nicholas Offerman edition whiskey. So until next week, Sante.